What is it? Settle down. All right. So somehow I'm gonna do this while playing with the dog because she's going nuts.
And while watching watching the Patriots.
And on a cell phone.
Yeah.
All right. We are live. Sam is more your host.
Steve's got a lot going on.
As we just explained to you, I'm like half here. What's up, Oscar? What is it? What?
Let me get the game picks banner up.
Yep. Sam will do the host job.
Oh, wait, is that Josh Downs? Please say that's Josh Downs. All right. I'm sweating some Josh Downs bets here, so if you see me. Was that Josh Downs? I think that was Josh Downs.
Josh Downs. Where's the ball?
All right, well, at least I got the reception yards. Jesus, what an annoying day that was.
Let's go get the ball.
That's actually a big play for me. We are going to start going through the games one by one.
Yeah. So I do know the first game is the Niners and the Jaguars.
Oh, boy, we're starting with that one. All right, Niners and
Well, that's
Jaguars.
the first one on FanDuel.
My notes on that. All right. Well, you got to go by FanDuel. This game is interesting as hell because the Niners are coming off a bye and I believe 3 straight losses before that. But yeah. I believe the first loss is when Trent Williams got hurt, and the 2 losses after that were without Trent Williams. Trent Williams is now back. He's playing today officially.
Yep.
So I think it's an important note for the San Francisco offense that, yes, even though I'm not sure how healthy Debo is going to be throughout the game, Trent Williams is playing. That's huge. San Francisco runs a lot of zone. Trevor Lawrence is very, very good versus 2 high zone, which the 49ers run a lot of, and he's great versus zone in general. I think he has a good game. And since week 5, the 49ers are like mid-level in pass EPA allowed and 22nd in run EPA allowed. Same time span, Jacksonville's 6th in pass EPA allowed and 23rd in run EPA. So I'm looking a lot at the running games in this one right away. And more importantly, just the offenses, because I see 2 defenses that are kind of underperforming in the last month or so, 2 months, month and a half, and offenses that are poised to have big games in the positions that they are in. The weather's nice. Total's gone a little bit up and a little bit down here and there. I'm taking the over. In terms of game picks, man, I'm going to take the 49ers. I feel like with Trent Williams back with the bye week, and I feel like the line is kind of hanging out there. People there for the Jet. Oh, well, I'll just pause what I'm saying for 1 second because with 3rd and 11 going on, Bailey Zappi is warming up on the sidelines.
Holy shit!
And Mac Jones is sitting down.
Oh, all right. This is like a monumental
what a time.
thing. You really might have to be running the show if Zappi's doing our 2-minute drill here.
I had to stop what I was doing. I was like, I know number 4 is
Jones doesn't even have his helmet on.
Oh, I had to reconnect for a second. But
that's
yeah,
all right.
3rd and 11. And if the Colts don't get this, we're going to the 2-minute warning with Bailey Zappi coming in on the next drive.
That's what it looks like. I mean,
they did not. I'm just gonna say it. They didn't get the first.
Oh my God. They didn't get that first. All right.
Real close.
So
to the market, I think they're a yard and a half off.
This game. I'm probably gonna take the spread, the -3 that I have. I am playing the money line already in one of my parlays. I'm probably gonna do another one and take the -3. Trent Williams being back is obviously huge. I think the Niners need a bounce back game. Fucking Colts are going for it.
No, they're just trying to draw you off. There's no way.
Trying for the jump. All right.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, they can't do that. You can't do that.
All right.
I would have been
Now,
incredibly surprised if they had snapped that football.
while we're at commercial, we should get into another game before something maybe
Yeah.
huge happens here.
All right. Well, the first game I see on Vegas Insider is Cleveland Baltimore. So
All right.
I'll go with Cleveland and Baltimore. So injuries, DeWan Jones, the tackle for the Browns is crucial. We're not sure. Another refresh of the Wi-Fi browsers. It's not really doing hot today for me.
No, I
I don't
have
know,
terrible internet connection at my parents' house. I'm
my
obviously
internet's
dog
going
sitting
in and
here.
out, so apologies.
Yeah.
Apologies to everybody. Baltimore runs the 8th most man defense in the league and allow the 4th lowest passer rating in man. They're obviously a great defense. Here's the thing. Deshaun Watson, and I use this terminology purposely, is disgusting versus man this season. And he's a disgusting person in many other facets, but he's also disgusting versus man coverage. 70% completion percentage versus man and a 120 passer rating versus man. Second best completion percentage versus man behind Dak Prescott. Second best passer rating versus man behind Tua. Just to let everyone remember, Tua has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Deshaun Watson has Amari Cooper. So in terms of who I give more credit for the rating, I'm not saying I don't give Tua credit for his ability in man coverage, but I'm saying I give a lot more credit to Deshaun Watson for doing it with what he has.
Absolutely.
Whether it's going to be clear,
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, whether it's going to be clear, no problems with throwing the ball. Lamar Jackson is 3-9 against the spread at home in divisional play. He's been a favorite in every one of those games. He's failed to throw for more than one touchdown in 4 straight games in that spot. Cleveland 8th in yards per rush allowed and 3rd in yards per pass allowed. I love a divisional dog getting this many points. Great sell high spot on Baltimore, who has not had their bye week yet, and they may be looking ahead. They have their biggest game of the season on Thursday against the Bengals in prime time. The Browns also have the best drop back EPA allowed since week 5. The Browns play the most single high in the league because that's the classic Jim Schwartz way. Lamar has faced the most single high in the league, so he shouldn't be too phased, but I don't think that means he's safe from a bad performance, especially with the Browns being good against the run. Also, I think I'm leaning towards an Amari Cooper touchdown. I'm not going to take it. I haven't taken it yet, but I'm leaning towards possibly an Amari Cooper touchdown. His target rate goes up 13% against man coverage. I like the Browns plus 6.5 for 1.25 units and the money line at plus 235. Little sprinkle for a half unit.
So I have the Ravens money line in a parlay.
I can,
but that's one of the ones that it's either this game or it's on Thursday that the Ravens are losing finally. That the Ravens are going to look human. You know what I mean? It's this week. It's today or it's Thursday.
Yeah.
So Zappy is on the field. Hold on, Oscar. Hold on. I gotta play. This dog is killing me right now. This is one of our worst run shows ever.
Give me a game pick and you can watch Zappy.
I am gonna take the Ravens, but I am not confident. I like your Browns pick. I was thinking about it.
You cut out a little bit, but you said you were thinking about doing it. You're still frozen. Maybe I'm frozen. Who knows? I'm going to keep talking like I'm not frozen. On my screen, I'm not frozen. I'm going to go to the Houston Texans and Cincinnati Bengals game. Going to text Steve that he's frozen just so he knows. Just to let you know you are frozen. All right. Bengals, Texans. I really don't have much on this game. I really kind of lean towards the Bengals, but the problem with that is the line movement. Many people, Steve's jumping out and back in. Many people many people should see a line dropping from -8 to 6.5. It's just never ideal. You're crossing that threshold. Ooh, nice pass. You're crossing that threshold of 7 points, which is one of the 2 very key numbers in football, and you're doing so with a team that a lot of people seem to think are going to do well this week in the Cincinnati Bengals. CJ Stroud has defied all odds pretty much. He has, and when I say that, I don't mean like, oh, the odds were stacked against him the entire time. Obviously not. But what I do mean is that, oh wow, the Oilers just fired their head coach for anyone who's caring about that. Wow, Steve's phone overheated. He's got a lot going on. What I do mean by that though is that he's had guys injured, he's had guys missing, and he still played phenomenally despite all of that. So you have a game where he's missing. Not Robert Woods is questionable. I'm not sure if he's going to play. Nico Collins is out. Damian Pierce out. Robert Woods questionable. A lot of defensive players not playing. And yet the line's moving towards Houston. It seems like the sharp money's there. I'm going to go against my better judgment, and I'm going to take them there. I'm going to take the Houston Texans on this game pick, even though I think that Cincinnati has the benefit here. Joe Burrow is great against zone. Houston runs a ton of zone. Houston's defense has looked definitely vulnerable recently since he 3-1 at home. Only lost. You know what? Sorry, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm flip-flopping back and forth, Steve. I'm flip-flopping back and forth in my pick, Steve.
Oh, which pick is that?
I was about to. I haven't taken. I don't have an actual pick on it, but in terms of my game pick here, I was leaning on taking the Texans. I was leaning on taking the Texans at plus 6.5 over the Bengals because the line moved through that key number of 7. It got from 8 to 6.5, but I just can't do it because since he's been so good at home, 3-1, only lost against Baltimore by 3 points, very respectable. Houston 1-3 on the road, losses to Carolina and Atlanta. Houston runs a lot of zone. Joe Burrow is great for zone coverage. I can't go against my intuition there. And yeah, so that's going to do it for me on this game. I really can't. I don't have a real pick on this game, as you can tell. I'm torn. But for the sake of game picks, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to. That's why I took a pause. But didn't want to.
It's all right. At least we know what's going on in the future.
Yeah, Matt. Can you end the Mac Jones era?
I don't care that Zappy just threw a pick.
Can you end the Mac Jones era on a neutral site international game, though?
I think he just did. I think he just did.
Oh, Zappy, you pulled
him with 2 minutes left. Down a score.
This throw isn't a triple coverage.
It's a bad throw, but
he's pointing. He wanted a flag. He was throwing to try to get a flag.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to say it's a bad throw in a coverage. He's looking for the pick, but for Zappy, he's gonna go take a shot right now. He's gonna go be a gunslinger in that moment. Yeah. That's the situation that he was in right there. So I'm not gonna be too mad at Zappy. I would rather that throw than the 2 throws that I saw Mac make on back-to-back drives. I lost.
I wish I'd seen them, honestly. Do you got a game pick for Houston Cincy?
Bengals are winning that game. I have the Bengals.
All right.
I think Burrow has a huge game.
I agree. All right. Moving on. The next game on Vegas Insider is Saints Vikings.
I've got the Saints, but I'm not placing a bet on it because I thought the Falcons were going to beat the Vikings last weekend, and then it really killed 2 of my parlays off Josh Dobbs pulling a miracle there. So,
dude, it was a monumental swing for me. And just if I can rant really quickly,
yeah.
I'm in this pick 5, this pick'em pool. I'm in a survivor pool and a pick'em pool with my pops. I was like 3-0 at that time, and I needed the Falcons. And my whole game plan on that game, my whole bet was all about how Jaren Hall was not ready and how Jaren Hall was going to struggle and the Vikings were going to struggle as a result. And they were. And then he got hurt, and that was it. It was like, I think it was like 11-3 or 11. They were up. They had 11 points, and the opponent only had a very small amount. It was very annoying, ruined a parlay, and it ruined my 1 p.m. slate, which I could have swept had it not been for that.
I almost swept the 1 p.m. slate. I ended up. Listen, I was up about $300 after last Sunday, so I had a good day, and I don't want to complain too much. The Falcons iced 2 of my parlays. So
Arthur Smith.
If the Falcons hadn't iced 2 of my parlays, being the only ones that didn't hit in those 2 parlays, I'm up another like $300 last week. If I had a $600 Sunday last week, and that would have been great. See, even Oscar agrees with that.
Hi, what is it, boy?
Yeah, let me.
Well, here's what I'll say about this game. And I hate to sound like a broken record. I really do. But I made a promise earlier in this season. I said every time that the Saints play a top 10 team in zone coverage percentage, that I am betting on a Rashid Shaheed touchdown. Now, the train has slowed down in the last couple of weeks. I'll give you that. But this is the match. Oh, hi, buddy.
Yeah, there he is.
Buddy. Puppy
say hi,
on
Oscar?
the stream. Puppy on the stream.
Yep.
Hi, Oscar.
We've got a puppy here.
Puppy on the stream. What other streams are you getting puppies on? Come on now. Bets and puppies. On Sundays, what can you do better than bets and puppies? I would go get my dog, but she's blind, and this is an unfamiliar area for her, so I'll steer clear. Don't want her bumping into everything. So the Saints are playing the most zone-heavy team in the entire NFL. The Vikings play the most zone in the league. And that's very interesting because they also run the most blitzes in the league. They pressure. They try. They don't get a lot of pressure, but they blitz the most.
We've gone over this.
Yeah, we've gone over this a lot. Blitz heavy, no pressure, leaving opens gaps in zones. The Vikings also allow the worst passer rating in the entire league in zone coverage. Rashid Shaheed gets 14.4 yards per target in zone coverage. His passer rating targeted in zone is 151.4. Most of any player, highest of any player targeted 20 or more times. Not going to go over all of his stats against zone again. We've done this several times at this point. Yeah. Minnesota is also the 9th best run defense since week 5 and worse in pass defense. So they're 14th in pass defense. So they are getting better, but they're still bad in zone. I mean, the game plan has to be to get – Michael Thomas has been dealing with an arrest. And your running game is going to struggle. You have to try and at least have a couple plays in the script for Rashid Shaheed to go deep against a team that struggles against the deep ball, that struggles against teams that exploit zone coverage well, and that blitz a ton, that leave open gaps in your zone. It has to be. It has to be. I have Rashid Shaheed anytime touchdown plus 350 for a half unit. First touchdown plus 1,600.2 and over 30.5 receiving yards for 0.75. I don't care if I lose them all again because I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I've made enough on him. I've already made it. I've made enough. I'm on the time he scored the first touchdown and his 2 other touchdowns that I could afford to keep doing this. I will keep doing this.
Basically, you feel indebted to Rashid Shaheed.
It's more so that it's almost like I can do this unless he plays a zone-heavy team every single game for the rest of the season this year and doesn't score a touchdown in any of them. As long as I manage the units properly, I can pretty much go into next season and say that it was still a profitable strategy.
I like it.
Yeah, the way I think about it is I'm not going to say playing with house money because that's not the right way to think about it ever when gambling. But like in terms of this trend being profitable, yes, house money. Oh, I just saw the pass. I just saw the Mac pass.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Yeah.
Not only is it lofted instead of zipped, it is 3 yards underthrown on a 12-yard pass.
That's what I think Mac Jones ended the Mac Jones era with that throw, because that is to go ahead in a game.
Yeah.
To go ahead in a game,
also,
late in the game.
He's wide open too. He's wide open.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm going to be going about this for.
Yeah, in terms of game picks, I'm not taking the Saints or the Vikings in turn. I'm like as an actual pick, but in terms of the game picks themselves, I'll take the Vikings as a home dog. I don't trust the Saints as road favorites. I don't really think they've earned that, and I know their defense is going to be bad against Rashid Shaheed, but the other receivers are not great at exploiting zone coverage. They're also not great at stopping pressure, so I'm not sure it's going to be perfect on the blocking, especially on Trevor Penning's side. And I just, I don't want to. I'm traumatized by Josh Dobbs. I'm not getting cooked by him again. I refuse.
Yeah, that's why I'm not placing a bet on this game.
Yeah,
because Josh Dobbs fucking made me angry last week. All right, what do we got next?
All right, next game we have is Packers-Steelers. And we do have to speed it up a little bit because we are going to run close to 1 o'clock right now. So if there are games that we don't have much on, we should probably go through them a little quicker. But I actually do have something on this one.
I don't know. I'm taking the Steelers. I don't like either offense. But I like the Steelers defense against Jordan Love. That's basically
this is a make or break game for me. This is a game that will have a team sent to the list if I do not get what I'm looking for. I've bet on the Packers. I think I've bet on the Packers 3 times this year. I think I'm 0-3. Against all odds, against every better judgment that I have, I'm taking the Packers in this game to cover the spread. Now, I'm not saying they've turned a corner by any means. I don't think they have. I think they stink. I also think they're missing Jair Alexander and Quay Walker in this game. Here's the deal. Aaron Jones is my X factor this game. He's the key to the game for me. The Packers also have had a top-tier run defense this year, which is weird to say because they were awful last year, but they're since week 5, 8th in EPA per run allowed. Excuse me, Jesus. 8th in EPA per run allowed. I had a hiccup. And Pittsburgh is 23rd in run defense on their side. Green Bay coming off a win. I'm not going to take much stock in it. It was Brett Ripien that they beat. Pittsburgh, though, coming off a primetime win over Will Levis where they were in an advantageous spot. The Steelers have failed to cover 5 straight games in which they're favored by more than 3, and 8 of their last 10 in that spot. They're also 13-25 against the spread as home favorites in non-primetime games with a line of 3.5 or closer to even. 6-17 when you get it at 3 or closer. Aaron Jones is going to pound the run in this game. They leaned on him heavy in his first game back last week. I think they're going to do it again. And I think that he's going to if there's anything to open up this offense, it's got to be him. Green Bay may struggle in some EPA categories in their pass defense. They are still 9th in yards per pass allowed. Kenny Pickett is worse versus zone than he is versus man. Green Bay runs the 5th most zone. His touchdown percentage dropped by 6%. I also just don't think that I'm not doing this because I think that the Packers are so much better or that the Packers are better at all. I do not think that these teams are that different. I think that they're very similar. I think that Green Bay is better on third down defense. I think that a field goal and another half point, a field goal and a hook separating these two teams is too much for two teams that I believe are very low scoring. So I'll take the Packers plus 3.5 for a unit and a half, and I took the money line for a half unit. That's a donation. I know they're not going to win. They never win when I bet on them. But 3.5, I just feel like the Steelers haven't done enough to prove that they can cover that spot. and they failed to cover in that spot in 5 straight games. So
I like them
feed me
winning the
runs to
game.
the trap.
I don't like it 3.5. I don't like them covering 3.5 though.
Feed me the trap. I'll stick with the Packers. And listen, I'm not saying if they lose, I'm done with them. If they don't cover, I'm done with them forever. But if they put in another piss poor performance, like I took them against the Broncos, I took them against, I want to say against the Bears. Okay, so I did win one on them, which was the first game against the Bears, which whoop-de-doo, the Packers beat the Bears. What's new? I took them against the Raiders, which was a spectacular loss.
Yes.
And I believe I also took them against it might have been against the Vikings. So just not a great trend for me, but I'll stick with them here. Next game we have is the Titans at the Buccaneers. Now, I have a huge play on this game. In fact, I have 3 plays on this game. So I'm going to jump right in.
Yep.
Injuries-wise, Tennessee missing tackle Daniel Brunskill, corner Sean Murphy-Bunting, wide receiver Treylon Burks. Only guy missing for Tampa is Matt Filer, the guard. The questionable guys are Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis. Hopefully they're playing. I haven't checked on their statuses recently. Tennessee runs the 8th most zone defense in the NFL. They allow the 7th highest passer rating while in zone. Baker is fantastic against zone. One of the things that I've said on this show, and one of the themes I've gone on the show, and something I kind of want to brag about, is that I have the NFC South on absolute lock when it comes to knowing when to and when to not bet them. And listen, there are some teams I just mentioned that I struggle with. This is not me like saying I'm the best at everything. I definitely struggle with the Packers and a lot of the NFC North, honestly. But the NFC South, I know, and it's a lot because of the way that they run man zone coverages, how often they run those coverages, and how those quarterbacks perform against those coverages. Baker Mayfield is one of those guys. I fade him when he plays against man. I bet him when he plays against zone. It's been a pretty good strategy for me. He's got a 71% completion percentage against zone and a 101 passer rating. Tennessee is a team that tries to run the ball as much as possible. Tampa is the 3rd best run defense in EPA since week 6 and the entire year. Vita Vea is back, which is who they were missing against Houston, which is why Houston was able to gash them on the ground. Although it wasn't really on the ground at all. It was CJ Stroud, but they opened it up on the ground. Tampa runs a ton of zone. Will Levis has killed some zone, but it's been in a short time period in the NFL. Levis on the road. I do like getting hyped up quarterbacks in a road game, although I already got that last game against the Steelers. I think I'm going to get another dose of it. Titans already allow a lot of pressure. I don't believe in the Titans offense, especially in the red zone where Tampa Bay specializes. Tampa Bay is also better on defense when it comes to takeaways, and rookie quarterback who's probably going to be facing high pressure. I like the idea of him having to throw the ball in 3rd and long situations with the run game being stopped. Conclusion, great spot for Tampa, bad spot for Tennessee. Titans can't run the ball. Bucks can stop it. They only need one of those secondary guys to play to stop DeAndre Hopkins because the other wide receivers on the team are not good enough. The Titans secondary is terrible. Mike Evans and Baker toast zone together. Mike Evans in particular has a 141 passer rating when targeted in zone. Bucks have the turnover differential advantage and the home field advantage against a rookie quarterback with a good defense. Tampa coming off of 4 straight losses, including a devastating loss at home, on the road last week by 2 points on a game-winning drive by CJ Stroud. I have a 2.5 unit play on Buccaneers money line minus 142. I think they do whatever it takes to get this win in a game where they can possibly keep themselves alive in the NFC South and pretty much kill them, not knock themselves out, but really hurt their chances if they lose. I have Mike Evans anytime touchdown plus 175, and I have Shaq Barrett over 0.5 sacks plus 110 at 0.75 units.
I like it. So I also think big Mike Evans game today. He's my wide receiver one in daily fantasy. I have the Buccaneers winning this game. Pretty much all the reasons you said. I do not like Will Levis missing his tackle against the very good linebackers on Tampa Bay. And as you always talk about, the zone covered man and zone, Baker Cook zone.
Yeah, and I think It's something that I feel like the markets really don't. Not the markets. Sorry, the markets. I respect the markets. The individual bettors don't understand as much. They look at the stats, they look at how guys played against certain teams, but they don't know that certain teams have certain correlations in how they cover. And that's very important to look at from the perspective of how a quarterback performs against different types of coverages. So we can move on to a game that I am going to skip. And I think that there's not much going to be much debate. Arthur Smith and the Falcons travel to Arizona to take on Kyler Murray in his first game back for the Arizona Cardinals. If you have a bet on this game in any capacity, I give you a golf clap. I didn't some bet on cojones, as the kids say. But I am not going near it with a 10-foot pole. I don't even know if I'm going to even look at it when it goes on. I mean, I'll see how I want to see how Kyler plays. So I'll look on the screen to see how he does, but really not. Oh, dude, I almost didn't put Rashid Shaheed in my flex in my keeper league. Almost would have been a big mistake. Got to rock with. Listen, the way I think about it, if I'm talking and I'm putting my money behind it, I might as well go all in.
I feel it. I feel it, Doug.
Although I'm not putting it in my other league, but that's because my wide receivers are Michael Pittman, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and CeeDee Lamb. It's a very tough wide receiver room to crack. But with that, do we have a comment? Or was that how long does Kenny. Bill last from Kenny?
He's signed through next season.
I think that's a jab at you, honestly, because of all the talk you've been doing about the extension, but it could just be a question. Did you see how frustrated he was? Did you see the hands? Oh, man, people are laughing at the Patriots. And listen, I'm not trying to give you fuel, but people are laughing at the Patriots now. It will not be fun if the Patriots end up with Caleb Williams. What if they can't give that guy another generational quarterback talent? We've been hampering him with, power dampeners of awful QBs. Let's not laugh too hard because they're 2-8. They're in contention for that number 1 pick. And as much as he talks about, I'll go back to college, I don't think Caleb Williams is going back to college. And I know Bill Belichick will do whatever he can to surround that guy with as much talent as possible if he gets a chance. So let's take it easy on him. Next 4:05 game, because that is where we're at now. As soon as I can get back to Vegas Insider. Here it is. All right. Detroit and the Chargers. This is being heralded by a lot of people as the game of the week. Much different than the America's game of the week on Fox, which happens to be the 17.5-point spread Giants-Cowboys game that we will not be going over. For my own sanity,
we don't. We don't need to. We can just say.
Listen,
just.
I'll say this.
Cowboys.
All right, you ready for it?
The only thing I'll say for you.
Do you want to know how down bad I am on this? Do you want to know how down bad I am on this? My dad has pretty much forced me into taking the Cowboys in our survivor pool.
I will. The only thing I'll say for you is that I'm not going to play a 17.5-point spread.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, you'll probably lose by 14.
Survivor. You can only use every team once, and every line's really close this week. Can't use the Bengals even if I wanted to. It's Cowboys or bust, and because I'm a Giants fan, we're Giants fans. We have not used the Cowboys yet. A lot of people probably have. They've played a lot of cupcake teams in those first 5 weeks. Hopefully that gives us the advantage. It makes me sick to my stomach that I had to click that entry and submit that survivor pool pick. But got to play to win the game, as they say. Yeah. You play to win the game.
Win the game.
So anyway, moving on. Detroit and the Chargers before I got sidetracked about the game of the week stuff. The Chargers run the 5th most man defense in the NFL. Jared Goff eats against man coverage. He has a 116 passer rating versus man. His deep pass completion percentage versus man is 64%, which is absurd. I know we don't have the stats in front of us of what the average is for that, but I'll tell you right now, it's low. It's not above 50%. 64% is high. He does struggle under pressure, and the Chargers are getting a lot of pressure recently with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. So I think that's important to note. The Chargers also have been a great run defense this year, weirdly enough. 4th best in the NFL. Really weird to say. Them and the Packers were both bad at it last year, like really bad. And they didn't make many personnel changes, and yet they got better at it. So kudos to them. That's very important for this game because Detroit likes to feature the run, and David Montgomery is back. With that being said, they have been able to run the ball on teams that have been able to stop the run in the past. So I'm not necessarily using it as a all in for them. The Chargers are also terrible as home dogs. Going back to 2013, they're 4-14 in the last 18 in that spot. However, 3-4 when it's not a divisional rival, but that's a small sample size. The Chargers have not beaten anybody good. Looking at their wins: Vikings, Raiders, Bears, Jets. Losses: Chiefs, Cowboys, Titans, Dolphins. Anytime they faced anyone remotely okay, they have lost. Since 2011, the Chargers are 13-21 and 1 against the spread at home versus teams over 500, 14-21 straight up. Since week 5, the Lions are 13th in pass EPA allowed. The Chargers are not a run-heavy team. They rely on the pass game. And the receivers aren't really threatening right now besides Keenan Allen. Quentin Johnson's not a threat. Jalen Guyton's not a threat. Josh Palmer's out. Mike Williams is out. Eckler's really got to be the guy out of the backfield. I think that they're going to key on him from a defensive perspective and just shoot. Wherever he runs a route, they're going to follow him. Multiple people probably. Eckler, Herbert, and Allen really have to do it all by themselves right now. I don't know if I believe they can, especially in a game that I think might end up being a shootout where you need to score a lot of points, not just have a couple big possessions. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown also has a big game. The Chargers are allowing the 5th most receptions a game to slot receivers and are 25th in DVOA versus wide receiver ones on their team. I think the Chargers have to prove themselves right now. I don't think they can. And I think that Jared Goff is going to have a big game through the air. You combine that with the Lions coming off a bye. Ben Johnson is not the guy I want to face coming off a bye. He's had 2 weeks to game plan for this defense. I think the Lions are going to be ready. I think the fact that they're favored by 3 on the road is somewhat telling, especially after they got shellacked on the road in Baltimore. I like the Lions for a unit here. I'm a little cautious because I'm just worried about their past not their pass defense, their offensive line holding up against the pass rush of Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. And if it doesn't, then Jared Goff is going to have a much worse game than I anticipate, which is why I didn't take his yardage. But I also took Amon-Ra St. Brown over 6.5 receptions for a half unit under the thought process of if Goff is doing well, he's going to be open. And if Goff is not doing well, he's the first guy Goff's going to look to get rid of the ball early. So those are my plays there.
I love this game. I am taking the Lions to win. I am also taking over 48.5 in this game. Like you said, it is probably going to be a bit of a shootout. And I am starting Jared Goff in daily fantasy because I think he's absolutely going to eat this Chargers defense alive. I think the Chargers suck. I think Brandon Staley's an idiot.
Hot take.
I've said on this show multiple times, I think this season, I think Brandon Staley is an idiot. And I understand that I'm currently a fan of a 2-7 team, but I'm still within my right to say I think
Brandon Staley is an idiot. You can call him an idiot.
Yeah. Listen, when I see an idiot, I like to call him an idiot. I think he's an idiot.
I see an idiot, I call idiot.
Yeah. Do you need any more analysis than that? I mean,
no. I thought there was going to be more, but that's it, I guess. No. All right. Next game is going to be Commanders Seahawks. I haven't made my play on this game yet, to be honest with you. I need to check how much zone and actually, you know what? I'll do it right now. Because my analysis on the Seahawks, the Seahawks have been a team I've been very good at covering recently. And the reason is because Geno Smith is a Baker Mayfield type quarterback. And I don't mean that in skill whatsoever. I mean, earlier in this show, we were talking about how there are guys that we succeed with man and zone wise. Geno Smith is awful against man. He is debatably the best quarterback in the league against zone. So let's see, how much zone do the Commanders play? See, they're middle of the pack. So that's kind of boring for me. I don't,
I'm
not
taking the Seahawks, but I'm
something
not
that really
overly confident in them.
Yeah. I also don't believe in the Commanders' secondary. And the Seahawks have played some very difficult secondaries recently. I think this is kind of a time for them to let loose. They're at home. They, coming off of that, let's face it, embarrassing loss against the Ravens.
Yeah.
And now they get to face a Commanders team that doesn't really have the offense and doesn't really have the defense. Like, I'm probably going to have a 2-unit play on the Seahawks. I just haven't made it official yet, so I don't necessarily want to put that out there. But my game pick here is definitely going to be on the Seattle Seahawks.
Boom.
That's it for me.
Yeah, I got it.
Next
I got the Seahawks as well.
Next game we're not talking about, it's Giants Cowboys.
Yep, Cowboys.
Yeah. Leave me alone. I want to cry. Jets Raiders. I once again haven't made my pick in this game yet, but I have an interesting trend. Did you know that teams that lost 2 or more fumbles that are now in the previous game that are now road favorites since 2003 are 6-21-1 against the spread?
I did not know that.
If you're having trouble taking care of the ball, it comes back to bite you. That's the way I think of it.
Yeah, we watched Mac Jones do it.
Yeah. The Jets are having trouble taking care of the ball. The Raiders' defense got a big motivated push last week against the New York Giants. And I don't know if you've noticed yet, but it seems that teams are kind of just getting the 1-2 punch of Giants-Jets, even on the road. Like, when you're in New York, I understand get both teams out of the way. The Giants and Jets are both facing the Raiders on the road in back-to-back weeks. Seems like they're kind of tossing them up to teams at a certain point and saying, here you go, guys. Swing away. The Jets are road favorites in this game, and I don't know what they've done to deserve that. I get the Raiders have a lot of problems, but I am personally a fan of the way that the Raiders have conducted themselves recently. I like the vibes in the locker room. I love Antonio Pierce, former Giant. I even said last week on the show that if the Giants lose to a former Giant for his first win is what it is. I'm pretty we're not going anywhere anyway. Happy for him. Really happy for Antonio Pierce. I hope he gets to keep the job. But yeah, I'll take the Raiders in this one on the early looks.
I think I'm going to take the Raiders as well. I actually hadn't looked much at that game. I actually didn't realize the Jets were.
Breaking news, guys. Steve has just picked against the New York Jets. I believe.
Yeah. I think the Jets suck. I think
10 weeks or something like that.
But by the way, since we're all ripping on how bad Mac Jones is, she's brought me back to this. All the quarterbacks that went in that draft that year, Lawrence looks all right.
Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence is good.
We can make. I feel like we can make the claim now that
Zach Wilson, second overall pick. He sucks.
Yeah, I feel like the reason it's not being talked about as much is because people have kind of already acknowledged that he's not
Justin Fields. Not that we wouldn't be doing that much better if we had Justin Fields as our quarterback. Right?
Yeah, probably not. But I mean, who knows? He has more talent than Mac Jones. I'll say that. He's a lot more.
I think that there'd be another wrinkle added to our offense, but I don't think we'd be doing that much better.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. What do we got next?
Bills at home Monday Night Football against the Broncos -7. I haven't looked at this game yet. Completely honestly, I haven't.
I haven't looked much at it. I'm going to lean Bills, but something about that spread is
fishy, right?
Yeah. There's something off about that spread.
The Bills have really not been good, at all. They had one great performance against the Miami Dolphins. And then everyone's like, "Oh, is this the Bills' year?" And then ever since then, it has been disappointing performance after disappointing performance.
People have been
So I
saying
just
it's the
wonder
Bills' year
necessarily.
for like 4 years, and I keep telling them that the Bills don't have a long window, but they keep telling me that it's the Bills' year. The
The
Bills'
Bills do
window is
not have a
closing.
long window.
Yeah, I think the window is
Stefan Diggs
closing
as well,
fast.
I think, is getting really frustrated with the lack of progress. This team's in a standstill.
That's
It
a
re- and
I'm leaning Bills, but I don't think I'm going to put any money on that. I'm going to look more at that. That spread's -7's fucking with me right there.
Well, also the Bills have had a struggling run defense in the last, really all season, but definitely in the last couple of weeks. And
Yeah,
Javonte Williams got on track last week, and for what it's worth, the Broncos' offense has not been their downfall. Their offense performed well in some, like, if I'm almost certain that if I look at their stats right now, I will find that they're mid-level in most stats.
It's also worth noting that the Bills let up a 2-minute touchdown drive to Mac Jones.
Yeah, that's right. To be fair, the guy that just got benched here
With 2 minutes left in the game,
diced up the Buffalo Bills. Oh, Bills at the podium. Oh man, I can't wait to listen to this.
Yeah. Fuck.
Well, that is it for us. That's going to be the last game.
Yep.
I'll leave you all with this. You know, Trent, Book It with Trent does that surgical 6 stuff. Here's a fiery 5 for you. All right. And no, it's not just all money lines. It's Buccaneers money line -148, Browns alternate spread +15.5. Yes, I know it's -430. Bear with me. Packers alternate spread +10.5, -360. I just don't think that either. I don't think the Browns are losing by more than 2 touchdowns against the Ravens, even if the Ravens get the win there. I don't think the Steelers are going to win a game by more than 10 points. And then I have Lions money line and Seahawks money line. That is +516 on FanDuel. Not bad for what I'm looking at. And obviously, that's something you only play responsibly because parlays are low EV, but have a little fun, you know? Steve. Steve is frozen in the Jalen Brunson 3-point celebration face, which is absolutely hilarious. Well, I believe that that's going to be it. I'm going to cut off the stream. Oh, he left. Let's see if he comes back. I'll give him a couple seconds to come back before I wrap it up. Well, as always, thanks for everyone for tuning in. Thank you to BCMG for having me as a host, as always. Thank you to Steve for being on during a very busy day for himself. And yeah, that's going to do it for us. Go all the teams that we picked.